Yo, let me hit you with something that's gonna make your blood boil right from the start. Everyone sits there and acts like Roman Reigns is this untouchable god on the microphone, like he's some kind of promo king who destroyed John Cena back in 2017. But let me tell you the truth that nobody wants to admit, the truth that's gonna have half of you smashing the comment section right now. Roman Reigns got absolutely exposed on that August night, and the WWE Universe has been living in denial ever since. Yeah, I said it. The so-called tribal chief got verbally dismantled by John Cena, and we've all been pretending it didn't happen because we wanted Roman to be the guy so badly. But facts don't care about your feelings, and I'm about to break down exactly why that promo battle was the biggest one-sided beatdown in WWE history, and why Roman looked like he showed up to a gunfight with a plastic spork. Listen, before you come at me in the comments calling me a Cena fanboy or a Roman hater, sit down and actually listen to what went down that night. This isn't about picking sides. This is about acknowledging reality. August 28, 2017 was supposed to be the night where Roman Reigns finally proved he could hang with the best talker in WWE history. Instead, what we got was a masterclass in verbal destruction from Cena and a bunch of scripted combats from Roman that fell flatter than a pancake at a Denny's at 3 in the morning. The difference between these two men on the microphone was like watching Muhammad Ali fight a middle schooler. It was uncomfortable. It was brutal. And it showed everyone exactly why Vince McMahon had been so desperate to make Roman work for years, because the man simply didn't have it when it came to cutting promos. John Cena walked out there with fire in his eyes and purpose in his soul. He didn't just cut a promo, he performed surgery. He dissected every single thing about Roman's character, his push, his failures, and his inability to connect with the audience. Cena talked about how Roman was handed everything on a silver platter, how he was Vince's chosen one, how the company bent over backwards to make him the top guy while the fans rejected him for years. And you know what? Every single word was true. That's what made it so devastating. Cena wasn't reading from some fantasy script. He was speaking the reality that every wrestling fan had been screaming about for 3 years. Roman got pushed to the moon, main event 4 WrestleManias in a row, and the fans booed him out of every single building. Meanwhile, Roman stood there trying to fire back with lines about Cena being a part-timer and selling merchandise, like that was supposed to hurt the man who literally built the modern WWE on his back. The most pathetic part was watching Roman try to claim that Cena only came back for the spotlight, that he was stealing opportunities from full-time wrestlers. Brother, John Cena earned the right to come and go as he pleases. He carried this company through its darkest years. He made Make-A-Wish his second full-time job. He put over talent when he needed to and elevated everyone he worked with. What had Roman done at that point? Main event WrestleMania after WrestleMania while getting nuclear heat, not because he was a great heel, but because fans were sick of him being forced down their throats. Cena calling out Roman for that manufactured push was like watching someone finally say what everyone was thinking, and Roman had no legitimate comeback because deep down, he knew it was true. Then Cena went for the jugular. He talked about how Roman couldn't cut a promo without looking at his wrist for notes. He mocked the way Roman delivered his lines. He exposed the fact that Roman was just reading scripts while Cena was out there speaking from the heart with real emotion and real conviction. And you could see it in Roman's eyes, that moment of realization that he was outclassed. He tried to recover with some weak shots about Cena's movies and his relationship, which was not only desperate but also showed that Roman had nothing of substance to say. When you're losing a war of words, you don't go after someone's personal life. You don't reach for cheap shots. That's what people do when they've got nothing else in the chamber, and Roman emptied his clip in the first 30 seconds and spent the rest of the segment just trying to survive. What made this even more frustrating was that WWE tried to present this as some kind of even exchange. They edited the crowd reactions. They had commentary act like Roman held his own. But anyone with eyes and ears could see the truth. Cena was operating on a completely different level, a level that Roman simply hadn't reached yet. And here's the thing that really grinds my gears. Roman eventually became the tribal chief, and he became incredible on the microphone. The Bloodline storyline showed us that Roman Reigns could actually be an elite talker when given the right character and the right motivation. But back in 2017, he wasn't ready. He wasn't even close to ready. And instead of acknowledging that and letting him develop naturally, WWE threw him to the wolves against the greatest promo of this generation, and we all watched him get eaten alive. The revisionist history around this promo battle is insane. People want to act like Roman gave Cena a run for his money, like it was this back and forth war. That's cap. That's complete and utter nonsense. John Cena destroyed Roman Reigns so thoroughly that night that it should have been a wake-up call for WWE creative to realize their top guy wasn't ready for that spot. But instead, they doubled down, kept pushing him as the babyface that nobody wanted, and wondered why the fans kept rejecting him. It took turning him heel and aligning him with Paul Heyman years later for Roman to finally figure it out, and even then, it proved that babyface Roman was never going to work because he didn't have the natural charisma and likability that you need for that role. So drop your thoughts in the comments right now because I know I just triggered half the wrestling community. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me Roman held his own. But before you do, go back and watch this segment again with fresh eyes and an open mind, and tell me honestly if you could sit there and say Roman Reigns didn't get absolutely demolished by John Cena. This isn't about hating on Roman. This is about calling it like it is, and what it was a verbal massacre that exposed everything wrong with how WWE was building their top star.